Bluetooth headphones with a lot of smarts. Let's check them out. Dave Taylor here, and this time I'm looking at these. These are the Origem HS-3 Bluetooth headphones, and they're pretty darn smart. They put a lot of circuitry in here to make these really work great. First off, I'll tell you they're running Bluetooth 5.0, which is great news because it's just a better connection to your device than the earlier generations of Bluetooth. And as you can see, they have a fairly unique design with this hinged over-ear hook. The hook itself is actually made out of nickel titanium, which is pretty fancy material. It means that they're really comfortable and they will fit a wide variety of ears. And of course, because they go over your ear, then they're much more likely to stay in if you're doing running or jogging or a bike ride or anything that involves a lot of strenuous activity. These are going to stay in better, and that's great. Now, the earpiece itself is a 10mm graphene driver, and they have what's known as equal loudness DSP chip inside. So DSP is digital signal processor. Basically what they've done is they've made sure that when you have it in, that the music is going to try to be sort of in the center of your head. I know that sounds weird, but the effect is actually really good. We'll come back to music sound in a little bit. Let me tell you a little bit more about it, because one of the other things that they have is in the inline 3-button controller, pretty standard stuff. They have all the different button functions you could imagine. There's lots of different things you can do, of course, but there's also a microphone in here, and that microphone is a smart microphone with its own circuitry. And that means that not only do you get really crystal clear phone calls, I'm really pretty impressed with these for phone calls. And again, we'll come back to that in a second too. But it also has, yes, voice control. It's not using Amazon Echo, it's not using Hello Siri, it's not using any of that stuff. It is its own built-in, very rudimentary voice control system that gives you the ability to say things like play music, pause music, accept call, reject call. And that's really terrific because it means that when you have your headphones, your Bluetooth headphones in, and you're listening to music and something happens, you can say something like pause music and it pauses. In fact, it just did pause the music. And I really like that. What's funny is I think most people that have this product don't know it has that voice control. So obviously you can live perfectly happily and use these and enjoy these and use your phone and the in-button controller and you'll be fine. And so you never have to do anything with voice control. But it is pretty neat to know that. Now, it is an extremely limited vocabulary. In fact, in the instructions, it gives you literally, these are all the phrases it understands, and that's it. And in fact, one of the phrases, hello voice cue, I never got to work. So I'm not sure what it would do if I did that, but I mostly really just like being able to say pause music, and there's no hands-on anything. And this is super easy. And then when you're ready to get back to it, you just say play music. So, pretty slick stuff. Now, let's get back to the phone calls quality because as I said, really good sounding phone calls. Now, I have a tendency with this sort of style of headphones to actually have the wire sitting in front of me. And it turns out with phone calls, that works out really well. Pause music, better, because the microphone is actually closer to my mouth. Most people who perhaps want to look slightly cooler will have it behind their head. And that obviously works fine too, but the only issue with that from the perspective of voice is that now the microphone's a little further away. So I see a lot of people doing this sort of thing, and that looks way more dorky in my opinion. Maybe you don't care what you look like, but having the wire in the front, particularly for phone calls, might be a good strategy to get the best possible sound quality. And while we're talking about that, let me tell you, zero lag. If you want to use these and you want to watch Netflix or YouTube or something, totally will work fine and you'll be very pleased. So what else can I tell you about this? Oh, so here's one thing that's interesting is that when they come in the packaging, it turns out they have no ear tips. And you're like, well, that's weird. So let me open the package because they did a very nice job with packaging. This is very much modern packaging design, right? Very attractive. And then you pull the plastic out, and then this has various components. And underneath everything is the user quick start guide, the user manual. So you'll have to dig around a little bit, but there you are. You've even found the hard case, and you're still puzzling over, okay, that's all well and good, but honestly, where are the darn ear tips? All right, so let me just close this back up. Turns out the ear tips, when you first get the package, are inside the hard case. So you open the hard case, and there's an envelope, and in the envelope are the ear tips. Also comes with a micro USB charger. We'll come back to charging in just a second, but 4 different sizes of ear tips, and please spend a few minutes to try to find the best possible size for your ears. Different ears have different size needs to get your ear canal to be reasonably closed, and it will make a massive difference in sound quality. These sound really nice, but if you have the wrong size ear tips, they're not going to sound really nice. They're going to sound okay. So particularly with bass, if you're finding you're not getting any bass, go up to the next size ear tips. It'll make a difference. And let me just say, in terms of the hard case, I'm not a fan of these sort of cases, but it is reasonably pleasant, reasonably nice, and certainly small, but I still feel like it kind of takes up a lot of space for what it does. Your mileage may vary. It does come with this, and this will definitely keep your earbuds, or I'm sorry, your ear headphones quite safe and reliable. So that's good. Now, in addition to everything else we've talked about, I will tell you that these are IPX5 water resistant, so you do not want to wear them swimming. It'd be weird anyway. But if you want to wear them while it's raining and you go for a run, totally cool. If you want to wear these on a strenuous workout at the gym when you're sweating like I don't know, someone who's sweating a lot, then that's going to be fine too. Little bit of water is not going to hurt these. So let's talk about the inline controller. Standard stuff, and on the side of it is actually a little piece of rubber you pop off, and let's see, here it is, little piece of rubber you pop off, and that gives you access to charging. And you charge via micro USB, cables included, and they did a design that's really nice. They have a quick charge design. So give it a 10-minute charge and you'll get 2 hours of playback. Give it a 40-minute charge and you can go from completely dead to fully charged in 40 minutes. That's pretty nice, which means that if you're like on the way to the gym and you plug these into your car charger, by the time you get to the gym, you're good for a couple hours, whether you're gonna go work out and then play a couple of basketball games, or whether you're going for a nice long run, you're gonna be fine. Very, very nice design. I appreciate that they've put so much effort into battery life. Now, this also gives you somewhere 5 or 6 hours of total battery life, depending on what kind of music you listen to and how loud it is. And I know that sounds a little weird, but if you think about it, if you're listening to quiet, melodic, symphonic, music or something, then you're not really stressing out the drivers much. It doesn't take a lot of energy to reproduce that. If you're listening to thrash industrial at full volume, and these will get loud and this will not be good for your hearing, then number one, turn the darn music down. What are you doing to your hearing? I'm a parent, I get to say that kind of thing, right? And number two, if you turn the volume down a little bit, your headphones will actually run longer on the battery charge, because if the more you're making it work, the faster that battery is going to deplete. So hopefully that makes sense. So not much else to talk about. I think it's an interesting, fairly unique design. The sound is really good. There's they have all this signal processing to make sure that it's all coming out really good. And there's a real crispness to the sound that I really appreciated. It has a nice, full, rich sound. There's good bass. It's not real disco sort of bass, but I suppose you can go onto your smartphone and you can adjust the EQ if you want to have it be a little bit more thumpy. I don't like that. I like things to actually be well defined, and these are really nice. They worked really well with some classic jazz I was listening to, where I could just imagine like the sound stage. I can imagine where different people were on the sound, on the stage. Really, really nice. And there's a lot to like about these. The sound is really good. The voice controls are kind of fun. I like the design with the over-ear hook that hinges. It makes it super easy to put them on and off. And of course, having good voice is another win. So lots of good stuff. Now, before I tell you the price, and I think you'll be pretty surprised by the price, but before we get there, let me ask if you can subscribe to my channel. Really appreciate when you subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Cool. Now, these Origem HS-3 Bluetooth headphones will set you back $99 at Amazon.com, and that is not bad for a pair of Bluetooth headphones that you're gonna say, wow, these sound really good. These work really well with my lifestyle. So I say you should check them out. Don't forget to do that little detective work when you first get the product to make sure you can find the ear tips, because without the ear tips, I guarantee they're gonna be really not working very well. And with that, that's all I got. So I'll catch you in my next video.